What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's always good to have you guys here. So just before we get into it, I just want to let you guys know that I'm a little bit ill today. It's been cold, it's been wet, it's been raining as usual here in England, and I've caught a bad cold. So you have to forgive me if I sound a bit mad on this video. I do apologize. So ever since a young boy, I always knew that my brain was different from other people, other boys in the class and that kind of thing, and I always knew that I was a little bit off, but I never knew what it was, and as I couldn't sit down in school, I couldn't control myself. I wasn't a bad guy. I wasn't a bad kid. I just couldn't relax, I always wanted to be the class clown. I always wanted to have fun. I always wanted to be doing different things, and as time got on in my life, this thing was, it started to affect me more as I got older. I'd have some amazing ideas for like some brilliant projects that I wanted to do, or some amazing business ideas, and back then, early 20s, late 20s and stuff, I was more of a risk taker. So I would go and do these businesses, and I'd do these things that I wanted to do, and I just could never sit with it for too long. Like I would start something, and then literally I could literally feel it in my mind. Like I could literally feel it, the interest going, and I'd actually say to myself, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I'll give you one example. So I love combat sports, and I'll do like MMA, and I'll do boxing, and I remember going to jiu-jitsu, and I was really enjoying jiu-jitsu. There was nothing wrong with it. I loved it. I loved getting a good sweat on. I loved grappling. But I could feel myself when I was in the class. I could feel my mind was saying to me, like, it was losing interest. The coach was talking, and I was just losing interest. And I actually said to myself, no, please don't lose interest. And I lost the interest on it. So I went on to something else, and then so this has been like a thing that's happened for me a long time. But these things I have noticed, I've noticed that I can hold my concentration in things that I'm really interested in. Like when I'm doing like YouTube, and like when I'm working on things that I enjoy, I like it, and I'm fine. It's when I have to sit and I have to learn something new, or I have to I have to concentrate on something that isn't hitting my dopamine. So I didn't know what this was. I didn't understand what any of this was, and it was like that growing up, in my 20s and stuff, and I'd go with different women, and I'd have one girl, and then I'd get bored and then go to another one, and it was like it just was a never-ending cycle, and I was like, what's wrong with me, and I noticed this for a long time growing up, but I never knew what it was. I never ever knew what it was. Anyway, so I started researching, started looking online as you do, and this ADHD thing kept popping up, and I didn't really understand what ADHD was. I remember my mum used to say when I was younger, you're very hyperactive, and I didn't really understand it or whatever, and I didn't really understand what it was. I just thought, oh, it means basically I'm a kid that's hyper, but I didn't understand what that meant. But as I've got older, I've really researched into ADHD, and I've really come to the conclusion that, okay, I have what you call adult ADHD, and it's crazy when you've got adult ADHD, and I got a diagnosis for it a little while back, and when he told me that you have got it, it answered every single question I had about my life, and it answered it ticked every single box where I was confused and I didn't understand what it was, and why was my brain like this, so, and with ADHD as well, you can you can lose your focus a lot. The other side of that is when you really love something, you'll invest everything, even if you're not getting anything out of it, you will invest everything into it. And a really good example of this is music. I really loved music growing up, and I would DJ, and I would hold these weekly radio things at my parents' house, and then I would get into music production, and I'd bring out loads of music, and like nothing was ever hitting, nothing was ever coming from it. You know how you get some people who are just lucky and they you know, they're in the right place, right time. Nothing was ever coming from it, but I couldn't stop. You know, it was like that was my my dopamine. You know, listening to me, listening to music, listening to all the new stuff that I've produced, all the new instrumentals, and bringing out a body of, and it just got like, so music was like my thing growing up. You know, that I got really obsessed with because of the ADHD. And yeah, like, so, you know, I've dealt with this adult ADHD thing for like many years, and I didn't realize what it was. I'll be honest, only the last 5 or 6 years I've understood what adult ADHD is. I didn't know what it was. I had no idea, you know. And just before, like, I give you guys, you know, like an insight into what I found and stuff, if you are dealing with any of these feelings, like, honestly, like, please go and get some like professional help, like from your doctor. You know, you'll go and talk to a therapist, like, because that ADHD thing, like, okay, it's not major in terms of mental health, but it actually can mess with your way of living. You know, it can mess with your daily life. You know, like, I've had, like, for example, I've had really good jobs, you know, growing up. I had really good jobs and really good job, like, positions and stuff, and I would just lose interest. I just couldn't hack it because it was so, you know, because of the way my brain is and having to sit there and concentrate. I just couldn't hack it. Like, I generally couldn't hack it, you know. So I'd stop them, I'd stop businesses, I'd stop all kind of things that I was really interested in. I'd just stop any hobbies, martial arts, you know. I could feel myself just losing interest, and, you know, so it can hinder your daily living, you know. So definitely go and get checked out. But what I want to say is there's a few things that I do pretty much most days or every day that have really helped my adult ADHD, that I can't live without now, that, you know, have made this amazing, like it doesn't even really exist too much, you know, like I'm okay. So the first one I want to say is writing your routine down every single day. Now, granted, you may have the same routine every single day, so you may not have to, but just going into the notes in your phone and just writing out what you've got to do on a day-to-day basis. Like, if maybe in Monday to Friday you have a 9-to-5 job, so you kind of got the same sort of routine, still write that down. Maybe not every day, but on a Sunday, just write it down. All right, 7 a.m, I know, wake up, shower, 7:30, down the gym, 7:30, work. After work, just write down some things, because and another thing I've noticed with ADHD is we can get very burnt out very quickly. We get tired very quickly from working, from having to concentrate, you know, from masking this feeling. You know, it can get very tiring. You know, I can have days where, like, I'm super productive, and then I'll have like a day or two where I'm just not interested. Like, and so writing down a routine every single, like, maybe not even every single day, but you know, like maybe once a week you get your weekly routine in, you know. So you write down what you're going to do on a Monday, Tuesday, what you're doing after work, what you're doing on a Saturday. Writing a routine every day has helped me massively. And also, just piggying back off that is when I write down my routine, if I've got things that are on that day, like maybe I've got a doctor's appointment, maybe I need to make a important phone call to someone, like, I'll write that in there, because I will easily just forget that will just go. So I write down all of that kind of stuff. And then when you start doing this as well, you actually start doing, when you start doing this, you actually start doing, start writing a bit more as well. Like, you start getting into the flow of, like, writing down things you want to do or that you have to do and goals you've got. So it's quite nice. But just getting in the flow of writing out your routine. And that one is a major one, writing down your routine. The next one is sauna, steam room, jumping in a pool. Like, God knows what that does. You know, I don't know. I have heard that, like, people who deal with, like, neurodivergent people who, you know, who have got these different kind of brains, you know, who have got different kind of, you know, thinking patterns and different kind of brains. Being in water is amazing, but sauna and steam, especially for us guys who have got this adult ADHD, being in the heat, being in the sauna, and actually, I'm a really big summer person. I love being in the sun. So, and I think this is one of the biggest reasons why I like being in that heat, sitting in a sauna every day, maybe not, even if it's not every day, maybe 4 or 5 times a week. If you can get into a gym that's got a sauna, if you can buy yourself a home sauna, get into a sauna for at least 30 minutes every single day. And it just calms the mind. It calms all the overthinking. It calms all the, all the crazy things going on in our brains. As you know, if you've got ADHD, your brain can like really just go off on one. Like you could have a plan to do something that day, and then something just distracts you, and then you're on to the next thing, and then you start thinking about life, like the past experiences and what's gonna happen. Like, so our brains can just go off on one, bro. Like it can just go off on one. So getting in that sauna 4 to 5 days a week, if you can, really is a big one, and it will just calm you down, man. Like it'll make you feel so much more at peace. Just being in that heat, jumping in. All right, so we talked about the sauna, we talked about the steam room, talked about having a routine every single day. The next one is to sweat every single day. This is a big one. Sweating every single day. I've actually talked about it in my last video about doing 12,000 steps, but getting some form of like aerobic exercise in. It doesn't have to be anything special. It could be going on a bike ride. It could be going for a light jog, but just getting a sweat on, especially like at the start of your day or at the middle of your day. Say for example, you've got a busy day, but you've got a lunch break. Instead of sitting down, which makes us worse, just getting up and going for a light jog, moving the body. I make sure I run twice a week now. I do steps every single day. I always do 10 to 12,000 steps every single day. But twice a week, I'll either do some running or I do some boxing. But just getting that sweat on, again, very similar to the sauna, to the steam room. It mimics that. And it just it makes your body just feel calm, feel at peace. Do you know if you're sitting down for a long time and you're watching TV, yeah, and but your legs get restless, you get agitated. Well, if you went to go for a run for 20 minutes and then you sat down, you'd feel like, okay, I feel bliss, I feel calm, I feel peaceful. That's what it does for our brain. It makes us feel more calm. And also jogging, biking, swimming, aerobic exercise, actually it hits the dopamine a lot more than just a walk. Because I've noticed, I love walking, but I've definitely noticed that if I go for a swim or a run, I feel totally different. Like I feel a lot more calmer, a lot more peaceful. Like my mind is not going as much. Like when I'm walking, my mind is still going. But when I'm jogging, when I'm swimming, when I'm biking, it feels a lot more calmer afterwards. So get a sweat going, man. Honestly, get a nice sweat every single day. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. It could be a 10, 15-minute jog. It could be even just do a fast, brisk walk. Just getting a little bit of a sweat on will calm everything down in the mind and hit that dopamine a little bit, which makes you have that feel good feeling afterwards. The next one is sugary food. So cutting out all sugary foods. I was a big eater of sugary foods, man, for many years. I've talked about this in a previous video as well, like going to the gym, training hard, but eating a lot of sugar, a lot of processed foods. But sugary foods in general, like I've noticed, like if I have too much chocolate or I have cake or I have a lot of ice cream, I can't relax. And I feel like it's something to do with maybe like it's increasing your energy in the body, because they say carbs helps your energy levels. So you're increasing energy, but you need to burn it off, and it's like making your mind go a little bit more faster. So I'll say it's bringing the energy in your body, but it's also making your mind get energized. You're hitting that sense in your mind, like, okay, I feel good feeling, but now I want to do something. Caffeine is a bit like that. Have a nice coffee, feel good, but then afterwards I'm like, right, I'm restless. I need to do something. I feel agitated, and that's a bit similar to sugar. So just limit that sugar if you can. Not too many times in the week, maybe once or twice a week. On a Saturday or whatever, you have like a bit of ice cream. You may have some cake as a cheat meal, but definitely not every day. And if you do have that sugar craving, I really would go with like lower carb fruits. So blackberries, blueberries, strawberries, that kind of stuff. Nothing too high in sugar, like bananas and things of those nature. They're very high in sugar, and even though they do have a calming effect, you know, it's still, for our brains, it might sometimes can be a bit too much. So just test that one, you know. That's just what works for me when it comes to fruits, but test that one. You might be all right with higher sugar bananas and higher sugar fruits, you know, and you may be good, but definitely chocolates, cakes, ice creams, all this processed stuff, limit that 100%. The next one I would say is what really helps me is giving myself a day off to just do nothing. Now, I don't know how you guys are, but with my ADHD, I need to be productive all the time. I feel horrible when I'm not being productive, and that can be just as little as like going out to cut the grass and cleaning up the house, and you know, like, and sometimes you don't even have to do that, but I have to feel productive, you know. If I'm not working, I'm writing. If I'm not writing, I'm gymming. If I'm not training, I'm always feel like I need to be doing something. If I'm not doing that, I'm learning, I'm reading, and sometimes it gets too much. It's so like, it gets overwhelming, you know. So I give myself a day, and I think most people that have that adult ADHD, we're so, you know, driven, we just want to keep going and going, but giving yourself a day, like it could be a Saturday, it could be a Sunday, but giving yourself a day to just chill, to relax. And another big thing I would say on when you're relaxing, turn that phone off, bro. I have a day, my phone goes off, it goes in the drawer, and I touch it, and not at all. And do you know how much more peaceful I feel? Like if I got my phone, I'm scrolling through YouTube, I'm scrolling through like adverts, I'm looking at different crap on the internet, I'm just scrolling non-stop, you know, and it gets too much, you know. Like I could be trying to watch a film, but then I just want to pick my phone up and start researching and start scrolling YouTube like crazy, like. And it's not good. That as well takes away from, you know, what you're trying, how your brain is thinking. You know, they say like doom scrolling and TikTok and all these things now, like, they're there to make you crazy, man. They are there to like literally ruin your, like, brain rot your brain. That's what they call it. And that is exactly what it's doing to our brains. With ADHD, it's probably like 10 times worse. So turn the phone off, have a day, go for a nice walk, go for a sauna, relax, watch your favorite programs, have your cheat meal that day, hang out with some people, you know, just relax. Even if you've been trained, if you've worked hard that week, lie on your sofa, play some 2K, relax, chill. That's the best thing you can do. So have one day a week where your brain is not thinking, it's not occupied with stuff, and you can just take a deep breath and you can just chill, man. So one day a week, relax. Right, next one, brain dump on a Sunday. So this is one that's quite new to me. I've been doing it for a little while now, not too long, but for the last few months I've been brain dumping. So I just keep like I just keep a notepad, like literally I just keep my notepad here, and I brain dump. Like I just write down everything that's on my mind, because you know, as you know, our brains go at 100 miles an hour. So I have new business ideas, I'll have new hobby, new interest ideas, new workout routines I want to try, and when it comes to it, I'm not even bothered. I don't even care about doing them, but I just write everything down. There's new things I'm interested, like I'll think of like I want to learn a new language, and I'll write that down, and I just get it all out of my mind, because it can just swell up in there, and then it comes into your week like on a Monday, and then you can't concentrate, so you start doing other things, and you start looking on your phone, and you start going on, you know. So doing a brain dump on a Sunday is great, you know. Even if you just got anything in your mind, anything you're stressed about, anything, just doing a brain dump, just write it all down. Don't do it on your phone. There's power in writing pen and paper. Like that's power, man. Like it feels like it gets rid of it more. When you're holding a digital device, it doesn't feel the same. You know how like staying social on a phone is loads different to having someone in person with you chatting and talking. So 100% do a brain dump on a Sunday and just get all your thoughts, get anything that's going on in your mind, get that out, and just go into your week peaceful. The next one is a personal tip of mine, and this is one that you guys could probably use. If I'm really struggling, if it gets a bit too much in my mind, I stop. And what I mean by this is I can have days where like maybe I've had a bit too much coffee, maybe work's got too much, maybe maybe my mind has just gone so crazy with overthinking and thoughts, and it's racing, and I'm trying to do 10 things at once. I'm trying to work, and then I'm trying to look up like different things I want to learn. I'm looking up different workout routines. I'm looking at like different like things that are like make people success, like just stupid stuff, especially like going online and looking at different people that are like really successful and all this kind of stuff in different areas. Alhamdulillah, I'm cool. I feel like I'm at a good place in my life, but you always look at other people, and you're always like doing that comparing thing, and so that can even take over. But just when your brain goes crazy with different things, and I give myself a break. And what I mean by that is, once I've done everything, I will do my rest day. If I have to, I will implement that into my weekday, and I will just turn my phone off. I will go for a walk. I'll go for a light jog, and I will just relax, and I'll just lie there, and I'll listen to maybe an audiobook, or I'll just watch a program, and I will just switch off, man. And this is a big thing with ADHD. Like I said, we get burnt out very quick because we're so productive, because we want to do 100 things at once. It just keeps going, man. It goes, and it can get tiring, man. It can get so tiring, like really, really tiring. So yeah, I just give myself a break. I just turn off, I stop, I lie down. If I have to have a recharge nap, I'll have a recharge nap. And that really helps me. So maybe, some of you guys who deal with that can do that. Just pigging on the back of that. If my mind does get too much, like I said, if it gets way too over the top, then I will just go to sleep. I will literally just go to sleep, and that's it. And I will just turn off. I will listen to some audiobook, and I will just lie down, and I will just fall asleep, and I'll wake up, and I'll feel more refreshed. Because that can happen as well. We can get overtired, and when we get overtired, we feel overstimulated. And then when we feel overstimulated, that's when our brain goes crazy. That's when the thoughts keep coming, and it can get too much, man. So I just go to sleep, and those are the things that I like to do that really help me. And it's just an added one as well. If you're not, supplement with magnesium. Magnesium's really good for the central nervous system, for the mind, just to feel more at peace. Magnesium's a really good one. But those are the few of the things that I like to do. A routine written down every day, sauna and steam room every day, 4 or 5 days a week if you can. Sweat a little bit, doing a brain dump, and then taking rest as well. Having a day off where you just relax. You don't do anything, you turn your phone off, you're not scrolling, you're just giving yourself time. And then just going to sleep. If it all gets too much, go to sleep. Get into your bed, get comfy, and just go to sleep. And those are a few of the things that I found really helped me with my adult ADHD. We're constantly on this training wheel, we're always constantly on this productivity wheel. We're trying to do our best as we can. And sometimes because of this adult ADHD thing, it can hit you, and it can give you, it can mess up your train of thought, it can mess up your days. So these are just a few things that I like to do that help me a lot, and if this video helps some of you guys, then yeah, that's a win. If you find it helps you, if you've got anyone that that maybe deals with this kind of stuff, if you send them this video, that would be very appreciative. And guys, I will see you on the next one. I apologize, I've had a bad cold today, so I may be rambling a little bit, but yeah, listen, I'll see you guys on the next one. God bless as always. Take care.